ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. We're shooting live at 2 Exposed You Studio. We have Mr. Daryl Goodman, he's the founder. Mr. Ray Harvey, he's the chief engineer. And today I have the Spring 82 Epsilon Endangered Species member. I have Mr. Willie Lee Thomas, I have Cedric Malone, and I have Kp Leon Jesus. How y'all gentlemen doing?
Pretty good.
We're well this morning.
Good to be with you again.
Thank you for coming back on the show. Willie Lee Thomas, first of all, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a 61-year-old and a 20-year-old from Blackville, South Carolina. Got my college degree from Benedict College in 1982. I am now high school physical education teacher, basketball coach, football coach, and been pretty successful at that for 30 some odd years. Married with 2 kids and have another daughter that came along before that. So been my wife for 32 years. I'm actually retired, but still going at it. Those are the best things I can tell you about me.
Oh, God. Hey, congratulations, Willie Lee. At the bottom, we have Cedric Malone, Dr. Reverend Cedric Malone. Tell the audience again about yourself, Cedric.
Good morning. I'm the pastor of Greater Mount Zion Baptist Church. I've been there for 25 years, and I've been the chaplain at the Roanoke City Jail for about 16 years. I came to Benedict College in 1981, and I joined up with the Endangered Species line, Spring 82, one of the best things I've ever done.
Okay. And then we have next, Mr. Leon Kp Jeter. Dr. Jeter, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Good morning to everyone, and good morning to the audience. I know this is part 2, so I'll try not to be redundant a little bit here. But originally from Barnwell, South Carolina. Met these gentlemen here at Benedict College when we were all undergrad, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of that 82 Endangered Species line at Benedict College. Subsequent to that, I did a lot of careers as far as filmmaking and social justice issues. Today, I'm actually Dr. Jeter. I oversee the Department of Criminal Justice and Social Science Administration as the department chair, and I also direct the Center for Cybersecurity at Benedict College currently right now. Good morning again.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Glad to have y'all back on the show. And what we're going to do on this show right here, we got some photos that Kp Leon Jeter sent me. And what we're going to do, we're going through some of the pictures. I had some pictures, but mine got burnt out by, that's another story right there. But we're going to go through some of these pictures right here and just tell the audience about it. The first picture right here. This is when we were over by the bell. Maybe y'all want to elaborate on this one right here. This is myself. Kp, you in the second one. Look like Cedric and Wolford.
Yeah, but I think that this is a great picture because it basically epitomized the pledge process of Omega Psi Phi at Benedict College. That bell during those days was a centerpiece of the campus. It was right, the center of the campus, right across from Bay Coast, the cafeteria, Mather Hall, the biggest building on campus. Everyone had to pass that bell. So at 12 o'clock, at what we said at high noon, we were pretty much out there to sort of entertain the crowd every single day. That was sort of our task. And what you see there in that picture is us sort of doing one of our chants or steps around the bell, round and round we go. So that was a good opportunity because it also, allowed us to build bonds of brotherhood, but allowed the campus to take part in our process. So that's a hard Benedict right there for really all Greeks. But that's where when we first went, as we said last week, we met at that bell right there, like 6 a.m. in that morning, and we stood there all day until 6 till the sun went down to begin our process. So that bell is very dear to us as a line.
Also, it's my understanding that we had to wear the suit on certain days,
Yeah,
and so either that was a Tuesday or a Thursday.
yeah, yes, true.
And it had to have been a Tuesday because the fact that I am wearing my ROTC uniform, so I was able to wear my uniform, so I didn't have to wear the pledge uniform. So that was me in the ROTC uniform.
Yeah,
Which,
and something else about that picture talks about how inspiration was. At least two of those guys you see above my head and Cedric heads, they became brothers later on. And the young lady in the fourth back, she became a Delta later on. So once again, that opportunity of exposure was a good thing.
Well, you probably noticed I was not in that picture. You know, some of us had to go to class, and
some of us had to go to class, I tell you. Some of
it
us
was
had to
either
go to
that,
class. Y'all hear that?
it was either that, or I was out playing baseball because I was a part of the baseball team also, so we traveled a lot during that time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an experience for me. That was something I thought I would never do, was pledge. So it was actually in my senior year. And we built
Mm-hmm.
bonds. We did a lot of things together. We hid together. We ran together. But most importantly, we became closer together, which was really outstanding for me. And it really uplifted me just being a part of that organization.
Next picture we
Yeah.
have the photo of Wilford Rogers, Willie Lee Thomas, and KP. Probably at
One of the homecomings.
homecoming.
Yeah.
How important was that y'all were together?
Well, it was really an opportunity, again, to spend time with one another. And we don't get a lot of opportunities to do that. But when you can make that homecoming, that's probably it's been a year since we saw one another again, and that's always great. And you would hope to get to see everyone that was on the line, but unfortunately, we lost a couple of brothers, and our hearts went out to the families. But it's hard gathering and not having those other guys there, and those thoughts really come back when we get together for that short period of time.
Yeah, and I would just add in that homecoming, as Willie said, that homecoming is that reunion time. That every annual reunion to get to see people hadn't seen in a long time. Your line, the guys who sort of made you, people that you might have made. But I mean, it's really a very important part of really all HBCUs. But it's definitely an important thing for us as a line to see each other personally and to reminisce and things like that. So it's always a good time. Always a good time.
Okay, we're going to the next slide. And this is a slide of, you see, KP, Marcellus Morris, Cedric Malone, and Wilford Rogers. They're standing in line, and as you can see, they're looking down, and something has to be going down. And I'm down that way, so something is happening, and they're seeing that it's coming their way.
Uh-huh.
So just tell the audience a little bit about what y'all think is happening that y'all know is coming y'all direction.
Well, I would probably say it's probably some trouble probably coming more than likely. But one of the things that's important about that photo is like Cedric said earlier, and this is for younger people who different times. But if you notice that we had the suits on, gold shirts, purple ties, and Marcy had the jean outfit on. So we had, I think it was about 3 separate different uniforms or clothing combinations that we had to wear, on given days. And you can see right there where the majority of the line had one thought, and as always, Marcy had another thought, and that was probably why we were in trouble.
Cedric, you just got that look in your face like, what's going on? What seems to be your thoughts going on at that time, being that you were the president of the line?
Well, first of all, we on Tuesdays and Thursdays, those were the evenings that we studied and we read information. Marcella's out of uniform is a big blunder in front of the brother. And I'll just leave that alone. We're getting on that picture. We're getting mentally prepared.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for the aftermath.
And can someone tell me why Wolford Rogers is the only one not looking to the right?
Well, I think because remember that he's a tail dog, he's a smart guy. He's probably looking for an exit. because at some point we had to leave that room and go somewhere, and I'm pretty sure he has to get us there.
Oh God.
Yeah, but I mean, what I would say, but this picture probably epitomized every single day during the process that we had those interactions with the brothers, and today we look back, it was all comical, but during that time, there was some serious sessions. As far as meeting with the guys and trying to instill in us the bonds of brotherhood, the commitment, responsibility, and those kinds of things. It was just following instructions. As you can see there, we as a line that, as you said last time, 7 chains and one, 7 moving parts in one chain is brother. But you can see Marcy was out of line right there. And so we all bear the brunt of the fact that we are not in order. And that was an important sort of lesson we learned throughout the entire process of being responsible to the brothers, but also being responsible to each other, and that was an important lesson. I think that photo sort of tells a lot of us. But it was just one of many days.
And if I'm not mistaken, that wall, the wall of that picture was, I think, in our DP Daryl Gray room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You even remember the wall, huh? Press. You even remember the wall. Boy, I tell you, boy.
I don't want to.
Yes,
this next photo, it has 2 wood. Tell the audience what that wood means to each one of you.
To me,
go ahead.
Discipline, warmth, stay in line, do it the right way. There are some experiences.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Know your information.
There's something about that wood.
Mm-hmm. That, Cedric?
If I'm not mistaken, Marcellus cut those panels, didn't he?
Well, no, not those, but I
Oh,
got some that I did have something cut. But that's one thing about the wood as far as tradition is concerned. Normally,
uh,
the line
excuse me a
makes
second.
wood. Okay, yeah, the line
Excuse me a
makes
second.
wood. Oh, go ahead.
Uh, Rev referred to those things as pals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's interesting how they're called. But good point. The point I was wanting to say also was that normally a line makes paddles, woods, gifts for the big brothers, as a souvenir for the process as far as that's concerned. And we did have a lot of those. We did do some of those kinds of things when we were a line. But those two particular paddles right there, actually, were made for me by some other lines that I pledged later years, and actually in New York. The New Ormond Chrome chapter up in the city, but that's a standard, um, the suits and the things that we wore, part of tradition. The wood was a part of tradition as well that still lasts today, and I think it was a very important part of our process because, as you said, it had a lot of different kinds of meanings and a lot of different kinds of purposes. But more importantly, it was definitely used as a corrective action a lot of times.
And we're gonna leave that alone. The next picture we have is of Leon Jeters and Spellers, better known as Spoolu and Kp. Tell audience a little bit about these two.
Oh man,
Salt and pepper.
anybody could jump in, but I mean, Spoo's my dog. But I think that particular picture, once again, tells a lot. I actually had an apartment on, I think it was Oak Street, about 2 blocks down from the campus, so we lived walking distance to the school. But that photo right there, we were just, young men living a leisure life. We had a lot, as you can see in his hand, we had a lot of church's chicken during those days. But once again, just any time we can find to be together, I think we took advantage of that. And those are the kind of things that sort of serve to build the bonds of brotherhood, which we had, we still have, which is very important. But that's an interesting photo right there. And also back in those days, that was when short shorts were short shorts. Oh yeah.
Wayne Spellers, he
But
was a
yeah,
good bro. He was a little
okay.
rowdy that time. I hated to have him behind me because sometimes he was worse than the big brother because he was on me a lot of times. But he was good.
Oh yeah.
He was good.
Okay.
He was good,
Oh yeah, he
bro.
was a good guy, compassionate guy, good guy, compassionate guy. Committed to the process. Wanted everybody. He used to say a thing. You guys need to come with me because I'm not going to stop. And it was those kinds of attitudes that he had. I think that drove a lot of us because he was committed to the process and we were committed to as well. But he was just straight up good dude all the way around.
He was
All the way
real
around.
good, real good. Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Wayne Spellers.
For a long time, I thought his name was Spoolu. For a long time.
Oh yeah. You see, I think that's one of the important, interesting pieces about the process as well. Like I said, a lot of folks, as you said, thought his real name was Spoolu. Well, a lot of people thought my real name was something to do with KP, and it completely doesn't. So one thing about the line, you had your nickname, your line name, then you get your dog name. So it was like who people by tells when you met them as far as that was current. Like we said earlier, that we still call Willie Lee versus Coach or something like that. That people know him today, they call him Coach Thomas a lot of times. But we're old school. We knew him back when we were young, so we still to this very day call him by his whole full government name. Which is what we did, which is interesting. And he was saying they were Cedric. We still call Cedric to this very day. We still call him Press. But that's that clique that as a group, we got that right to do that for each other. And most people be like, who you talking to? Well, you don't know.
Okay, this next
One
photo we
last
have Wilford Rogers and we have the governor. Tell the audience a little bit about this photo, gentlemen.
I can tell you about
Well,
Jonathan there.
go ahead, Willie.
Jonathan, he fooled a lot of people. He actually played on the baseball team with me for a year.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about how great he was in high school and all the scouts he had that was recruiting him. And when he got to Benedict, we weren't very good during that time. But when Jonathan became a part of the team and just to list stories and then to watch him actually try to play baseball, his stories did not match up with what I could see in person. And I ride him about that. But a really, really good guy. Wilfred and I probably have talked to one another more so than just Dr. Jeter there. Since then, I usually see those two more than any other guy, and just have some good conversation. And Wilfred actually was working with one of my old girlfriends back in the day, and eventually he told me about it, that she had mentioned me, and that was interesting that he would be working with someone that I used to hang out with some 20 years later. That was interesting. But it's some really, really good guys.
Mm.
The next photo we took like a group photo. We have Mr. Bridges. We can see ourselves, each one of the gentlemen. That's me over there in the white shirt, white jacket. We have Cedric. You had Perez.
Yeah, I'm at Lance's right.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, this picture, we are. This is our neophyte line. Is that right, Dr. Jeter?
No, I think that photo right there was when we did the Omega Queens. I think it was like that. Because that picture right there, it has 4 separate lines in it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got Lance line. You get the line behind us
The line after
with
us.
Daryl Best down.
Yeah. And then because you had Griffin's line and you had Lance's line. You see? Yeah. Yeah, and then Johnny Thomas, because Johnny Thomas is there.
Yeah.
So that's a different line as well.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that the good thing about that particular picture right there is that it shows you that the bros do dress up rather well sometimes. It wasn't always dirty jeans and t-shirts.
I didn't own a pair of jeans.
Well, oh yeah.
Next photo is of our Dean of Pledges, Mr. Daryl Gray. And his wife. They have Cedric Malone and KP doing homecoming.
Yeah.
Daryl Gray. Tell us a little bit about Daryl Gray, our Dean of Pledges. Good man.
Ironically, Daryl Gray is now in St. Louis, Missouri, a political activist and a minister.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, he's not far from my parents' home. About 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that a guy I met in South Carolina would end up in St. Louis?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I would just actually add one of the things that even while we were on there, that he was always a politically driven individual, even when we were in undergrad. I mean, he was involved in a lot of things politically on campus with SCLC and Jesse and those kinds of things, and so it was definitely all in his blood. But I think for us, I think he did definitely. As a dean of pledgees, he definitely cared for us. He was that strong figure, who pretty much wanted to make sure that we pretty much were on the right track at all times. So I think once again, when it came to as a mentor, probably you couldn't have asked for a better mentor during that process, and a better friend today as he is to all of us right now. So he's definitely the number one DP, we would say.
And I think the best thing about Daryl is the fact that he was able to keep control of the big brothers
Yeah.
when it came time for us. When when we were online, big brothers came in there and he was able to handle those big brothers because they were like, they wanted some lambs.
Yeah, you're right about that, but
Want to
I think
turn out
that's an
the
important.
lights.
Yeah, that's an important point because that deals with respect. When you got guys who respect your DP, so to speak, then the process is just as you said. The DP's word for both the pledges and the brothers is the last word. There's no debate. There's no argument. He said what he said, and that's what it's going to be. And if you got that kind of respect from both sides, as I said, that's why we had such a great process because our DP did get respect of all the brothers. On the campus, visiting brothers did not make a difference when he spoke. Brothers heeded.
All right, next photo is, I guess, one of the step shows. It's hard to tell who's what and what is who, but this is one of those step shows where we were being the Omegas. Tell the audience what it was like being in one of those step shows, gentlemen.
I can
Exhausted.
I, I had bad feet, so normally I was stepping in the wrong direction.
Exhausted.
Oh yeah.
I think for the dark, it was excitement from him. He was ready for that action. He was always ready for that action.
If
Yeah.
I'm not
I
mistaken, that's that night
Go
he
ahead.
stepped in fast um um because I think Spoolu was incognito, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. We try to camouflage. We try to camouflage who we were, but still have a good show. But I think the main thing, and that shows right there, is that we were entertainers. I mean, our job, as brothers, was to entertain the yard, and that was probably one of many step shows. And we also try to be sort of creative every time we came out. Different. We get different clothing, whatever we had on, but it was all designed to entertain the crowd. And in that picture right there, you can't see it, but we're surrounded by tons and tons of people, and we're in the dead center here putting on the show. And I think that was a hallmark of all the chapters of E Square when it came to time for the Bros to step. People came out from far and wide to watch us do our thing.
I think for me, the best thing about the step shows is I was a quiet individual, and when I first saw a step show, it was like I saw the way the ladies, they screamed and all that, and I was like, this is kind of weird because for them to be yelling at individuals doing these type of things, I was kind of crazy. So that's one of the reasons why I pledged, because I was able to act crazy and not be crazy. So that's one of the reasons why I pledged the fraternity, so I can act crazy but not be crazy. So
So,
that's
Oh yeah.
so in
it.
other
Yeah,
words, it was a release.
yeah. I could act crazy but not be crazy. We're getting close to the end of the show, but I want to show this show right here because we have the picture right here of Gaither.
Yeah. That's
They have the
brother Big
governor,
Hand Gaither. Big
Steve
Hand Gaither.
Gaither, Mandingo warrior.
I
Tell
think he
all this a little
put his
bit about
hand.
Steve Gaither.
Gaither, the first time I met him, he put his hand thing across my face and it wrapped around my face. I think his fingers came around and touched the other side, hit his wrist. Bam!
All right, we're
So
not gonna
we
talk about
became
that
really,
nonsense.
really good friends.
All right, gentlemen, we're running short of time, gentlemen, but I really appreciate y'all coming on the show and talking about Spring '82. I had a great time, just talking about it, seeing the picture and reminiscing, and I look forward to coming back and seeing more of these pictures. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show. I love each one of you and look forward to having y'all come back.
Thank you for the
Rest in
opportunity.
peace,
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, audience, for watching the show, and you be encouraged. Thank you.
We out?